WrestleMania at the Wanda Metropolitano was quite the watch, wasn't it? And while some were picking fights on and off of the pitch, Vrsaljko was picking through his nostrils at a furious rate. Well, he was also apparently doing some nastier stuff in the tunnel, but we'll get to that and all of the other incredibly important details and analysis of nose picking later in this episode. Let's go. Benfica versus Liverpool, a tie that was realistically all but decided going into this match at Anfield. And then I saw Liverpool's lineup and I still had some hope that us football supporters always have, that hope that kills us, even when we shouldn't have it. But I look back at this lineup, and considering Benfica had some looks against a full-strength Liverpool back line while playing in Lisbon, I felt like we could at least score a few goals and have some fun. And while Benfica did score some goals, some great finishes from Gonçalo Ramos, Yaremchuk, and yes, Darwin Núñez scored 17 offside goals in this match as well. But Liverpool also scored plenty. Of course they did. Like I said last week, for me, they have the deepest attack in Europe right now. I upset a lot of Bayern supporters when I said that, which is understandable, as they have a sick attack as well. But Liverpool's is just a bit more scary, in my opinion. I don't know. At least in this moment. When Liverpool have already scored 3 goals and they can bring on Mo Salah and Sadio Mane to torture Benfica's back line, I mean, bad form Salah or not, it's still ridiculous to be able to bench that kind of talent for the first 60 minutes of a match, only to bring them on when you're 3-1 up already. Benfica didn't have many attempts in this match, or at least many that came from onside positions, as Benfica had 5 offsides in this one to Liverpool's 1. That's crazy. Our boys are asleep at the wheel. I mean, that was an issue in season 1 for Darwin in particular. Then he sharpened up a bit, and then this happened. But it's just a reality of players who like to play off of the shoulders of defenders. He needs to improve as far as his positioning, but it's not a deal breaker for me, as he makes up for it with his finishing, as everyone would have seen tonight. But yeah, Benfica getting a 3-3 draw against Liverpool at Anfield. Admittedly, they rotated a lot of positions. Both Konate and Matip feature regularly as starters, but alongside Van Dijk. Tsimikas has proven time again that he's quite the backup to Robertson. Joe Gomez at right back, not bad, but much prefer him at center back, which is an incredibly non-controversial take. What's annoying is some of the errors, like 3 defenders failing to stop Konate from heading in the first goal from that corner. Then that third goal where Benfica do some sleeping during the free kick. Wicked delivery from Tsimikas. Good finish from Firmino, but Benfica were doing sleep. Or Vlachodimos failing to collect the ball normally for Liverpool's second goal. A straightforward collection as he slid out and it bounces off of his knee. Then Vertonghen with the blind failed clearance that went straight to Jota, and the ball across goes in. I mean, that was just embarrassing stuff. Calamitous. And before I get this comment again, I'm not discrediting Liverpool. Good teams take advantage of errors and force errors through their quality. That goes without saying. It's just hard to watch from a Benfica point of view, where every set piece feels like it's just an automatic goal for our opponents these days. Conversely, when Benfica went forward against this Liverpool back line and midfield, I forgot to mention that Lord James Milner was in there as well. But when they went forward, they looked like they were capable of scoring. They looked a threat. But all of that being said, Liverpool deserve to go through, of course. They will have to face off against King Unai and Villarreal. And honestly, with the team that Villarreal has and the manager that Villarreal has, this could be more difficult for them than a lot of their fans would care to admit. Of course, the most likely outcome is that Liverpool advance, they beat Villarreal and make it to the final. Of course, there's a big chance that Liverpool go crazy and score a ton of goals against Villarreal. But beware of those Champions League evenings. You know, a lot of the talk surrounding City playing away to Atletico will be about everything but the football. And that's understandable because it was a treat to watch. Look, it can get ugly and toxic. You know, what happened in the tunnel between Vrsaljko and the rest of City, that is toxic and that has no place. But all of that fire on the pitch was pretty enjoyable to take in. It was as if City and Atletico had swapped in the second half. Atletico was the team full of attacking, while City were the team that was parking the bus a bit. That's a stretch saying they parked the bus, but yeah, it's fun to say it. It's fun to say it for a team like City, even though it's not necessarily true. Because there's a big difference between having to defend a ton and parking the bus. So that said, City in the first half looked dangerous, Foden squaring to Gundogan only for him to roll the ball off the post, while Atletico offered absolutely nothing going forward in the first half. They were quite poor. In the second half, They completely rectified that, forcing some decent saves out of Ederson, having some narrow misses, plenty of strikes blocked by City's defenders. It was all hands on deck for a while for Manchester City. Stephen McInerney, a great Manchester City creator, said on Twitter that City out Atletico in the second half, and that's how it felt. It also felt like a continuation of the bust-up of the first match involving Grealish and all those Atleti players, as these two teams certainly don't seem to like each other, do they? In particular, Stefan Savic, former City player by the way, and Philippe were driven mad by Phil Foden, as the gifted attacker who changed the game when he came on in the first leg, by the way, was absolutely clattered by Philippe after just 12 minutes, and he absolutely should have received a yellow card there. Philippe, that is. He knew exactly what he was doing, going right through the back of an opponent, and when you do that to an airborne opponent, you can really hurt them. He could have landed on his head, broken a collarbone, broken a wrist, what have you. Stupidity from Philippe, lucky to not receive a yellow, and he continued to go in hard all match long. He went in hard from behind on Kevin De Bruyne, and late in the game, during the massive 22-player bust-up, it was started because he went in hard on Foden, and as he got up, he swung his boot into my mic stand. How could he do that? No, he swung it into Phil Foden's calf. Again, I mean, the guy knew exactly what he was doing. That on its own could be a red card, but all he needed was a yellow. Somehow he acted like he was surprised to be sent off as well, which was quite the treat to behold, because there's nothing I love more than the theatrics that players put on when they know that the right timeline is the current timeline. Also, Foden deserved a card as well, as he was antagonizing throughout. You know what? Everyone deserved a yellow card out there, man. Managers, physios, all of them. They were poorly behaved. And it was great to watch. Anyway, Atletico certainly played better in the second half and proved that they can dominate the game when they want to, which bears the question of why wait until the final 45 minutes to do so. Very frustrating stuff from Atletico. And so there will not be a Madrid derby for the semi-final. Instead, Pep Guardiola will try to make it to his second consecutive Champions League final, but he will have to go through Real Madrid. If they do make it to the final, sometimes you gotta lose a final before you can win one. Maybe it's City's year. Who knows? Who knows? That's to discuss another day, guys, as that will do it for me here today. I'll have another video for you very, very soon. A video on Bayern Munich. Sound good? I'm Adrian. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.